So I'm Andrée Grau and I'm an anthropologist who specializes in dance. And I started with a dance background. I originally wanted to become a dancer and had a lot of injuries, so became a movement notator instead, studying Benesh movement notation. And as I was planning to continue with notation, I discovered anthropology, and I found that it was a very exciting combination to try to understand dance in society. So anthropology first is the study of our humanity. And an anthropology of dance then would be understanding our humanity through dance. The fact that probably all societies in the world have some sort of structured movement system that one may label dance says something about its importance. There have been theories that, that dance has been significant in our human development. We tend to think always of two key moments in the development of humanity. Is first becoming bipedal, so the fact of standing upright liberate our hands and means that we can use our hands to make tools and do things, as well as clobber each other over the head. But the second key moment in humanity is tend to be seen as the development of language, because with language you allow symbolic thinking and the possibility of talking about things that don't exist, that are imagined, that are in the past, that are in the future. With a dance approach, we also consider, wasn't there another key moment in between? A moment where through movements that are rhythmical and repetitive, that they do something to us. And may develop our thinking. And John Blacking, for example, talked about how the stone axes were made in such a beautifully balanced way. Did they really need to be done in such a way in order just to be useful? So his argument was almost like saying, well, they were not meant to be useful to start with. They were meant to be beautiful. And it was the pleasure of the sustained movement of making them and the rhythmical nature of making the object that was pleasurable for the maker. They became beautiful object, then end up as practical object. Obviously this is all speculation, we have absolutely no proof about that. The other idea in terms of human development is that moving together in time is something pleasurable, and you find that it works easier. For example, getting a rhythm, getting a collaborative rhythm with someone, and that's what the military historian William McNeill talk about muscular bonding. So this muscular bonding allow us to be more efficient. So the idea then, in this sort of evolutionary perspective, is that you have those key moments of becoming bipedal, then you have this key moment of what one could call proto-dance, because it's not yet dance as a symbolic activity as we know it, that allows greater cooperation, that allows being together, that allows an aesthetic kind of thinking that would then lead to the development of language. I think with what we discover as anthropologists working in dance is that first of all our beliefs of what even constitutes a body is challenged. What constitute a dance movement is challenged. And I think it is this confrontation with different kinds of knowledge that can be very interesting for dancers and choreographers. And it is interesting that in our MA Dance Anthropology program, we have had a number of choreographers who chose the program. And in the very first year, I was surprised because I didn't expect these sort of people coming. And yet that was really, they wanted to engage and be confronted with another way one can understand what is going on. Because honestly, when one documents a dance tradition, first of all, one tries to see how it fits. How does dance fit with the rest of society? Is it something important? Is it something marginal? Does it does it reflect? But it's not just that dance can be a mirror image, because dance can also generate ideas that will have an impact in the society. But it is this broad. Obviously, at the beginning, one needs to see what is that dance about. What do people think about it? What are the aesthetic considerations that they have, if they have any? What is considered appropriate? Are dancers special kinds of people, or are everybody dancers, and so on and so forth? Because obviously, if you start in a society like ours that believes in talent, then only the talented end up dancers. Then you start from a perspective that some won't make it. If, on the other hand, you consider that to dance is a social duty, and that you have no way of avoiding it, the notion that an adequate dancer is just a norm. And I say adequate dancer because it doesn't mean that when you have belief like that everybody is necessarily a wonderful dancers. And it doesn't mean either that the people do simple dances. In South Africa, among the Venda, young girls went through an initiation at puberty when they did extraordinary complex movement. They were almost like yoga with the leg behind the ear and those very complex things. And it was just assumed that every girl will do it. So it wasn't a question of, sorry, I can't, my body doesn't fold like that, but it was a question of not if you do it, but when you do it. And some bodies took longer to do it. But it was an obligation. So you don't think about it. You know, you can walk, therefore you can dance. You can breathe, you can sing. So obviously when you start with premises like that, then the dance is very different. So it doesn't become a specialized activity. So I think part of the role of an anthropologist working with dance is to situate that practice and try to understand what it means for the people and try to link it to other social practices. My greatest surprise working in Australia with the Tiwi was that my PhD ended up being about kinship, and because it is through dance that the kinship system is not only sort of quite quasi-theorized, but it is up to a point new kinship relationships can emerge through the dance. So it is both a reflection and has this generative quality.